Hello, welcome here. Today's video is about portrait drawing. And I try to really explain how I do it because it's not really a typical thing. Like, I'm not doing what everybody is doing. I'm just doing what I'm doing. I don't even know what everybody is doing. To be honest, I don't have to follow, I figured that I don't have to follow every rule that there is. Like, I can just come up with my own system and run with it because it feels much more natural to me. Like, it just comes naturally and I can do it without even draining myself. So this is a system that I came up with, and the system is really simple. I first start with the skin and then move on to the hair and the hat and all the rest of the accessory that might be existing. All the detail is going to come later. The skin is going to come in the first place. And so you can see that I am starting to shade because I've laid out the first color, which was the base color, and I started to add much more shadows to the painting. And so when you are starting to paint the skin, you have to understand that there's like layers upon layers to it. You can't just like go all in one layer. So there's going to be like a layer for shadows, there's going to be a layer for lips, there's going to be so many layers because you need to actually understand that there's like separation between layers so that if you are working on one layer, it's not going to mess up the entire painting. You can just like erase it in that one layer. And I start to work on the cheeks and the nose much more than all other part of it because they are higher than other areas on the surface of the skin. So those areas like need the most attention because when you are imagining a sphere and you want to add shading to it, if it's a sphere, you can like spend all of your time just shading, but if it's just like a flat surface, there's no need for you to spend a lot of time. And this, like the skin and the entire face, is just like the sphere that I just showed you. It's just something that you need to figure out where the light is heading the object. So here I figured that the light is coming from this direction and everything is going to be based on that. Every shadow is going to be placed really opposite to that. So the area that is entirely toward the light is much more lighter than the area that is entirely, away from it. And it's just a very simple thing, but you have to really pay attention to it. Like if you're trying to add shadows to the cheeks, you have to know if it's the lower part of it that has shadow on it or if it's like the entire cheek that is shadowy, because like if it's away from the light entirely, then you have to just darken the entire cheeks. But if it's like exposed to light in some areas and in some other areas there's like very darkness to it, then you just do whatever that light is telling you, right? You have to just like follow the direction of light. And that's what I did. And I wanted to tell you that I use a very specific color for shading the skin, and it's like purple, between purple and red, and you can use that for colors of skin that is typical and not really like characteristic, but it's just something that I often use, and there's been like multiple times that I've used this method. And so for after I did the skin, I started moving onto the hair and other part of it, like the accessory that I just talked about, like the hat. I wanted the hair color to be much more like a very magical, sort of semi-realistic color. And like the entire painting is semi-realistic, and that's why I did some unconventional stuff, and I wanted to keep it really cool, not to be entirely realistic. I want to really talk about the problem that I get into when I want to choose the color of any character. It's like if you are working on a character that you have no inspiration for and it's like entirely out of your imagination, like this one here, like I'm doing it from my imagination entirely. There's not even been one single inspiration, not even a real life inspiration for this. It's just like coming out of the canvas. but how I choose to even color what I have in my brain, because like my brain doesn't perceive color in that way. I have to really try it out, and I have to know how it's matching the surface of the skin or the entire like hair or anything like that. And so like that is how I do it. I just like try to figure out, and as I go along I might even change the color of the hat, and I did it. And I wanted to mention that I highlighted the eye by just like adding a very light color to the eye. So like I mentioned, I'm just like trying as I go. I wanted the hair to look more black, and that's what I end up doing. The brush that I'm using is just like 6B pencil brush, but I'm trying to blend it so much that it doesn't even matter what kind of brush you're using. But since I'm really interested in 6B brush pencil brush, oh my god, it's something that I go to, like it's my go-to brush, so it's not even relevant. And I start doing some highlight in the end so that my painting looks legit. And that is it. Thank you for watching. I hope that I can see you in the next video. Have a great week.